going on, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of Nyjah Houston Week. So due to some technical difficulties, I'm actually having to film this after the fact. We are driving in the car, and so for Nyjah Houston Week, we started it off by talking about Nyjah Houston skateboard, and then we got into how to backside flip like Nyjah Houston, and then I told you my story of meeting Nyjah Houston and how I got on his Instagram. To finish off Nyjah Houston Week, I wanted to go more in depth and give you guys 1 week review of Nyjah Houston's custom shape and whether or not I think that you should buy it. So as always, before we get into the topic of the video, we got to get warmed up. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram at the Local Joe. You want to get a Friday shirt, the link will be in the description. Let's skate. So unfortunately, I just realized that I didn't bring my skateboard, which is a bummer for a lot of reasons. But as far as this video is concerned, it's a bummer because I can't actually show you what I'm talking about. So that's a big bummer, but we're gonna push forward. So the first thing that I really liked about Nyjah Houston's skateboard was the crispiness of the pop. I know some people like a little bit of bend and a little bit of flex to their skateboards, but me personally, I like it to be rock hard and just really, really stiff and stay really nice and stiff all the way through. And so far, after probably 7 sessions, the equivalent of around like 10 to 14 hours of skating, this board feels exactly how it felt on day 1, which I think is amazing. You can't really ask for anything more than that. When it stays feeling fresh, you know that you got a good one. And honestly, some boards just come out of the manufacturer better than others, so maybe I got lucky, but from my experience, this board is holding up extremely well. One thing that could contribute to that is that there is a decent amount of concave on this board. It's still a flat board. I would say it's like somewhere between medium and flat. There still is a little bit of concave, and in my experience, having boards with concave will help the board stay fresh a lot longer. So that could be one contributing factor to why the board feels so good. And I've tried skating like really flat shapes like the Baker OG Mellow shape, and I just didn't like it, but this board has kind of a good mix of flatness with the right amount of concave that it doesn't feel strange. The second thing I noticed about this board is the kicks. If you look at the board, the nose is way longer than the tail. So there's a couple advantages to this. So number one, with the tail being shorter, it's actually a lot easier to pop the tail and pop it faster. If you watch like Shane O'Neill or some skateboarders, they'll actually scoot their foot up really close to the bolts when they pop maybe switch tricks or nollie tricks, and that's to help get the kick down to the ground faster. So that's the same concept with this shorter nose, and in my experience, it actually does make a huge difference because popping the board is a lot more effortless. You don't need to really try to get the tail down. In my last board, the tail was slightly longer than the nose, just like by a little bit, which I thought was really weird. So switching from that to this was really, really refreshing. Beyond that though, the nose is really, really nice and wide. It's kind of like one of those shovel square type noses. Not actually square, but really, really kind of roundy, which I really like. It gives you a lot of confidence when you're flicking the board, especially with my heel flips. Like low key, this board fixed my heel flips. The combination of skating, a cup soles again, the Nyjah 2s, along with Nyjah's board with that really wide nose, my heel flips started clicking again, which I thought was super awesome, like, because I've been really frustrated with them and trying to get them back, and then the combination of the shoes and the board really just made it work for me. The last thing I want to talk about is the graphic. Now the graphic on the bottom, I'm a big fan of it. I feel like some graphics look better than others as they wear down, and I feel like this is a graphic that is going to look good even after it's been and skated, especially because they did a bottom ply that's stained blue. So I really like this because as you skate the board, rather than it just looking like a damaged piece of wood, you start to see this blue color coming through, and I think it gives it character, and it just doesn't look, it looks intentional rather than when you have a board with natural wood that's just been scraped on the bottom. It just looks cheap to me. So big fan of them doing the top ply stained, the bottom ply stained, and a middle ply stained. Some people think that that makes the board stronger. If you're one of those people, you should know that this board has 3 stained plies, and maybe that's another reason why it feels so fresh. Overall, I would have to give this board like a 10 out of 10. It's probably one of the best shapes that I've ever skated, but still it's not my favorite skateboard, and I'm gonna get into why in just a second. But first I want to do a trick challenge. So Nyjah Houston does a lot of full cab variations. He does like full cab back lip, full cab Smith, full cab flip lip. Like he's a big full cab variation guy. So I'm kind of at the beginning of full cab, so today I want to go around the park and see if I can do it first on the hip and then out of the bump, and then eventually the end goal is to be able to do it out of the step up. So let's see if we can get some full cabs like Nyjah Houston. Stoked on how those full cabs worked out. That felt like I was getting a lot better hang of the trick, and just stoked with the progress that I've made during Nyjah Houston week. I mean, there's a lot of tricks that for me are personal NBDs, especially on different obstacles around the park, like half cab flip over the hip or backside flip off the drop, just to name a few. So really hyped on the progress I've made this week. But I want to get into why the Nyjah shape is not my personal favorite. So I'll just start by saying that my personal favorite shape is the Ashadware twin tail, which is vastly different than the Nyjah Houston shape. Nyjah kick are just completely different. One's really short and one's really long. It's about the furthest thing you can get from a twin tail, which I like. I like the uniqueness of the shape, and it enables you to create a feeling with the board that you could never recreate with a twin tail, because with a twin tail you have to kind of pick a medium between a nose and a tail. And so I really like the Nyjah Houston board. The shape and everything was awesome, but personally the freedom of a twin tail, being able to skate it back and forth and not worry about which way you're going, at least helps me get more in the groove and more kind of sucked into the skateboarding session. I just feel like I can get into the zone a lot easier with a twin tail, which it seems weird. It's something that you wouldn't really understand unless you've actually tried skating a twin tail and just not worrying which way you're skating. But as far as like a one-dimensional shape, a non-symmetrical board, I've got to say this is probably the best shape that I've ever skated. I really enjoy skating it, especially because I don't do much like switch or nollie. So being able to just skate it with the giant nose and that shorter tail, just the leverage in it as well as the flicking points, it just feels really good. And honestly, I feel like it helps me to enhance my skating, enhance my ability, whereas I feel like my last board wasn't really doing me any favors. So that's it. That's episode 4 of Nyjah Houston week. If you watched all 4 episodes, leave it in the comments below. Comment true homie if you've been here from the beginning of the week. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up filming this, and then I'm gonna edit it in the car, and then hopefully you guys can have this video tomorrow, Saturday. So thank you so much for watching, guys. The best way to support this channel is to get a Friday t-shirt that will be in the first link in the description below. Subscribe, like the video, and follow me on Instagram at TheLocalJoe. Thanks, guys. Make every day a Friday. Peace.